morning, hope you're doing well. This is the second video of the EAs that I've been making. I've been working on two distinct expert advisors. The other one was on the pitchfork, so the logic was quite straightforward. This one, however, it does take a little bit more discussion because you probably got questions about the logic, and it's got a thing called, well, it's kind of got like a machine learning algorithm in it. In so much as that what it does, it writes to a file the currency pair in question if it goes to stop loss. If that is the case, it has like a negative value. It's got like a -1 value, and so it simply knows that particular currency pair hit the stop loss. If it triggers again, it's going to reverse. So it's got a very clever, intelligent behavior about it. And what it's currently, you can see that the chart is switching between the strongest versus the weakest, and it will fluctuate back and forth. And so we can see that CAD's currently weak on multiple time frames. So it's looking for CAD yen because yen is strengthened. I'm not quite sure what's caused it. It could be BOJ. We don't know for sure, but we do know that the yen is strengthening right now, technically. So we don't really have to be too concerned with the fundamentals. Obviously, the fundamentals are the driver for the PA, but this will tell you the direct outcome of those fundamentals because the technical is the bedrock of direction and what's going on. This is the outcome of all that stuff. This is why technicals are really, really good and very powerful. And so basically these green and red cells, they are distance from the prior close. So if we have a higher monthly open, it's a green value. Likewise to the weekly, daily, H4, H1 and 30 and 15 and 5 and 1. So we're above all of these time frames. So we're looking for a bit of yen strength currently. And what I've done is that I've weighted this algo so we don't look at the monthly. Reason for we don't look at the monthly time frames that we had a lack of data on the demo account. So we don't look at the monthly, so we just only look for M1 to weekly, but we weigh H4, D1 weekly with a greater value than we would of the M1. Obviously, we can't treat them equally because it doesn't make sense. So if we're green on H4, D1, W1, that's quite bullish. Likewise, if we're bearish, if we're red, we're going to be quite bearish on there. We can see we're trying to turn around on the dollar, but the H4D1 week 1 aren't that great. And we can see if we look at the chart of cross dollar, we can see that we've actually performed quite positively over this week. So that's the logic there. The chart flips back and forth a lot, and so that's something that I've been doing. I'm sitting here all day. I really want to see this chart flip back and forth, but it is useful because we can see what's strong, what's weak. Okay, so what I do is that when I finish this video, I will look at something else that doesn't keep fluctuating all the time. But what happens currently? See, we're fluctuating a lot on yen pairs. I'm not quite sure what's caused it, but we don't really need to be too concerned with because this bar will trade it. So currently what we need a risk management toolkit involved because the EA in question doesn't have the SLTP yet. It will do eventually, and likewise it doesn't have a time filter. Now the reason for the time filter is that this was required because it would open up trades over Asia and it would go to our stop loss because of the spread widening. And as you can see, it fluctuates a lot. So it would trigger like an Australian dollar, Swiss franc, say, and it would just fluctuate and wobble, hit the stop loss, but then it would immediately trigger and then it would hit the stop loss, and it would just be bouncing back and forth between stop losses due to the low liquidity environment in Asia. So we don't have Asia trades now. We're only going to open up over 6 o'clock, or no trades before, and only trades before 8 o'clock. Okay, so after 8, no trades. Before 6, no trades. Okay, so that's it for the logic. Hopefully that makes sense. Are we having a change in scenario where the dollar is strengthening? We can know that the dollar is strong because of the fact it's at the top. All right. And so we've got like a strong um, resurgence near term, but on the long term, H4D1, W1, we're actually a bit weak. So the dollar is trying to fight back, and this is likely to do with fundamentals, like I said. But we would simply not have to worry too much about it because this is going to trade those deviations in price. New Zealand dollar is weak across the board. Pound's also looking a little bit weak as well. And there's the euro pound. So we can probably go up higher on the euro pound. We're saying sell CJ. And that looks like it could be a good trade. Now, the conditions for entry, there's three. Okay, so this is important. The MA does come into question. If we're below the MA, it will open up a sell. If we're above the MA, we'll open up a buy. So currently, while we may have a buy set up in speech marks, it wouldn't open because we're on the other side of the MA. So there's the pound Swiss. So does that make sense? Yes, it does. We've got greens here and we've got greens here. And so therefore we are trading the pound Swiss to the downside because of the MA and also to do with the currency strength deviation logic. And the second filter is the ADX. So if you don't know about the ADX, it's simply it's a trend filter, and we are only interested. We can black that out because we're not that bothered about the direction. We just want to know whether or not it's trending, and we can make that white, say. And we need to add a level. We're going to add a level. This is the level that we use. Okay, so we can make that a bit thicker. So if we're above 25, it means that we're trending. So therefore, it would open up a trade because we're trending. We're above 25. We're above the MA. Depending on we had the setup from the deviation, it would open up a long. Look at that. Right? So really, really good. And the last conditional check is a little bit complex to talk about, but what it does, it checks a price range and it checks its volatility in that price range. So if it's not moving at all, let me maybe come to, if we're doing this, you may have seen this on the tick chart, but if we're doing these candles, all right, so let's imagine this is, and we're just basically not doing anything at all. We're doing like this. Oops, I want to do that. This, we are not doing anything. We've got no direction at all whatsoever, and we're caught in this horrible micro chop. And what it does, it doesn't trade this. Obviously, these candles should be a lot smaller, but this is just for demonstration purposes. So this is like zero direction. It's not even remotely interested in trading that particular currency pair. We need to see proper volatility in that pair. So that's the conditional check where it does a volatility. It checks your price range divided by the ATR. Okay, so that's the third and last check. So it does the ADX, it checks the MA, and it does that volatility check as well. And lastly is the fact that it learns from mistakes. So if it goes to the stop loss, it will simply reverse it. So it learns. So it's really, really clever. We can see we're fluctuating a lot. What is going on with the yen? So the yen is really strengthening right now. It could be the fact that we had some news. It could be news related, but we don't really mind too much because we're opening up sales on CAD yen. So it doesn't really matter. Hopefully we get some follow through and we're going to get to our TP. If it gets a TP, that's a green tick. And then if we open up another trade, it will just simply open up a trade in that direction. If it goes for the stop loss, it's like, well, actually we won't open up a trade in that direction. We should reverse it because you got stopped out. So that's the logic. It's a little bit like ML, machine learning, but it's very basic. And that's it. I think I talked about the logic here. And we're looking at deviations, strongest versus weakest, which makes sense. I talked about the conditional checks. And it's got the volatility checks in there. And it's got the MA as well. The MA is... it's a good one to have because it keeps us on the right side of the trade, and it uses the 50 MA, but 21 was just put on there, but it uses the 50. That's the logic for it. So we go below, it was going to want to open up a sell, and let's come to the expert. So it checks whether or not a trade's opened on that particular currency pair. If it has, it doesn't open, and then if the trade does appear, it's like, okay, well, we need to, before we open up the trade, we need to do those 3 checks, and then it does those checks, and if it goes to the green light, 1, 2, 3, away we go. And that's the EA that I've been working on. So I think I will wrap up now, because this will be a long video, and you can see how it works, and it should be excellent on paper because of the logic here and the fact it's got those security checks in place as well. And there's the pound weakness creeping in, and you could probably argue pound, it shouldn't have been as strong as it was. Okay, we had some okay data, but it was also following the euro a little bit, especially against the dollar. And so that's it. So it's going to continuously scan the market, and it's going to look for current open positions. So it really wants to open an NJ, but it's being held off because of the conditional checks and the fact that we've already got a trade open on NJ already. So it looks like that could be a good one to trade. It's worth noting that this indicator is available in Discord, so you can get access to this. This is completely free. The EA isn't ready to be released yet, and I still want to do some testing on it. And that's it. So hopefully it's a good video. Any likes would be great. If you want to subscribe, that'd be great as well. But if you want to get access to the EAs, you have to go to patreon.com/QuasiDB, and then you get access to the indicators and all the EAs, and I'll put them into Discord for you guys, and that's it. So we've also got an affiliate link as well at IC Market. So if you wanted to do that, if you wanted to fund your account with live funds, let me know, and then you get access to everything for free. So you can do that if you wanted to. If you wanted to change to your broker to IC Markets, just let me know, and I'll grant you access to all this stuff. And so it's mutually beneficial, and that's it. So I wish you a great day and a great weekend, and don't forget we've got this big meeting, this big macro event later with Trump and Putin, and we could be very much risk off or risk on pending the outcome. So you've got to be careful. And for now, for me, I'm not going to have this fluctuate back and forth, so I'm going to change the currency pair, and then I'm just going to let it run, let it ride, and just see how much profit it makes. And so far so good. It's been absolutely excellent, and really happy. And hopefully this is going to be the way to go. And that's it. So have a good weekend, and I'll speak to you guys soon.